Okay, so what we're going to go over today is the 4 steps that you can take to get closer to food freedom. And these are things you can do immediately tonight. Like if you are an avid snacker or you crave like crazy, these are 4 things that you can literally do tonight and practice to break that hold that food has over you. Okay? So, first step you want to do when you are hit with a craving, when you are facing temptation, when you're just having a hard time on your weight loss and your health journey, and you feel like not doing the right thing or not doing the right habit, here's what you got to do. You have to, in the moment, you just say, okay, what emotion am I feeling right now? So, step number 1 here to food freedom is name the emotion in the moment. Okay, so what is the emotion? Is it you are stressed? Is it you are bored? Are you tired? Are you angry? Are you sad? Simply by naming the emotion, I swear you're gonna get a little bit lighter. Okay, that's the first step. And now I remember, actually I remember I still go through this. You ever end the day and you're laying in bed and you feel like you forgot something? Like you were supposed to do something and you can't quite figure out what it was, and there's like a little bit of anxiety around it, like, oh my God, something doesn't feel right. What did I miss? Well, in that moment, the first step to figuring out what it was that you maybe forgot is to list off the emotion that you feel about it. Same thing when it comes to the food and the snacking. If you label your emotion, it has less control over you, and it doesn't feel like, again, you are out of control because now we can start to fit things in a box. Once we label it, we can then explain why it's that way, which will make more sense, right? So for me, when I have all this going on in my life and I find myself turning to food for whatever reason, for comfort, for boredom, I have to ask myself, what is triggering me right now emotionally that my brain is telling me food is the answer. Food is the cure. Food is the distraction, right? What is it? So I'll list it. And normally it's overwhelmed for me. Normally there's so much going on in my life. I haven't sat down and organized my mind recently. And so everything feels too much to handle. It feels like I'm missing things. It feels like things are slipping through the cracks. And it feels like I am just not on top of things and things are falling apart. Does anybody else kind of feel that before? So that's for me the feeling that comes up often, and that's will lead me to kind of want to go for the food is that feeling of overwhelm, right? I can't deal with it. I don't know. It feels like there's way too much to do. I don't even want to look at it, right? It's kind of like when you haven't checked your inbox, your email inbox for a while, and then you push it off another day, maybe another day, because you're like, oh God, I don't even want to start. I don't even want to start with the 200 emails in there, right? Same idea. There is an emotion. If we can label it, it is easier to take action. It is easier to jump in and stop avoiding. Okay, so label your emotion in the heat of the moment. It's like the easiest thing to do. Just say, oh, I'm angry. I'm pissed off. Right? I'm stressed. I'm bored. Just quickly label it. And that's going to make the way for step number 2. So once we have labeled the emotion that we are feeling, that our brain says food is the answer to, then what you have to do is you have to measure the emotion. So you named the emotion, now we measure the emotion. And a really simple tool to do this is the traffic light system, right? So green light, yellow light, red light. Where is the intensity of this emotion right now? Is it a green light, meaning I'm regulated, the emotion is there, but it's not phasing me? I still have the strength, the willpower, the motivation, whatever you want to call it, to do what needs to get done, to eat the healthy meal, to get my workout in, to get to sleep on time, to X, Y, and Z, right? So green light means I'm self-regulated, I feel fine. Now, yellow light in the moment would mean I'm struggling a little bit. There's a little bit of a battle happening in your head, right? Oh, I shouldn't eat that, but it would be really nice. Oh, but I know I won't. I won't like the scale the next morning. Oh, but one bite won't hurt. I'll start fresh next Monday, right? Like this little battle in our head. That's a yellow light. When you're in the yellow light, you still have a chance to win. You have a chance to pull yourself out, okay? But when you are in the red light, okay, you've almost completely disconnected, okay? You're kind of emotionless and numb, and then you're kind of just going and going and going and picking at food, right? Has it ever happened before? You get to a whole bottom of a bag of chips and you're like, whoa, how'd I get there? Right? And you're just like emotionless, right? You're just eating. Maybe you're standing in your pantry and eating. Maybe you're sitting at your counter and picking. Maybe you're watching your favorite TV shows and you're going back for seconds of ice cream. Something's happening and you've just kind of mentally checked out. You know what I mean? Like you blacked out. Not really, but emotionally, we've gone a little too far. So that's red light. So now that we've named the emotion, step one, step two is measure the emotion, okay? Green light, yellow light, red light. Why do we do that? Because when we know where we're at, we can then address what should the solution be, okay? Because if it's a green light, we don't have to worry about the emotion. We don't have to judge ourselves or feel guilty about the emotion because we still have the control. So it's easy to brush off and keep doing the thing. If it's a yellow light, we know that there are a couple things we need to be doing and we are in a little bit of a danger zone, so I do need to be proactive, okay? When we're in the yellow zone, we can't just hope for the best, which is a lot of the time what we do, right? I just said do. Let's say, like for an example, you have a great week, right? Your great week with your food, your steps, your exercise, your water, your sleep, everything feels great. Then the weekend you have a party or a plan to get to. And you're like, I've been strong all week. I know I'll be strong, right? That is you being overconfident and cocky, right? Hope is not a strategy. There needs to be a plan. So you go into that weekend with a plan to make sure you can continue this momentum. Same idea when you've figured out that there's emotion involved, that's why you're craving and you want this stuff. There's an emotion involved. We now know we're at that yellow or red light. Now you know I can't just hope, I do need a plan. Okay, so this is going to help you get out of your own way of when you do feel cocky to swinging all the way to the pendulum of like, whoa, I can't control this anymore. Because that's when we get messed up the most. It's not that we did the thing, we did the overeating. It's that we thought we wouldn't do it, and now we're really pissed off and disappointed in ourselves that we did do it. Right? But I can guarantee you will do it, and you will do it again. But again, the 4-step system is going to slow that down, and you're going to get back on track faster. So we named it, we measured it. Okay? Now, step number 3 is you have to redirect the emotion. Name the emotion, measure the emotion, redirect the emotion. Why? Emotion is energy in motion. If we do not take that energy and use it constructively, we will use it in our food. We will use it in drugs. We will use it with porn, right? Like all these different areas that are not helpful to us. So how do we redirect our energy? Well, like literally, how do you use your energy? It does not have to be complicated. You don't have to overthink this. Like hop, jump in place, do jumping jacks, yell, clap like crazy, okay? Journal, dance, literally get the energy flowing through your body because when it flows, we can expel it. And you'd be very surprised that just by literally using energy different and using up that what we'll call negative energy, using it up is going to make you way more, let's say, logical. Okay, that emotion, we can now look at that emotion outside of the emotion instead of sitting in the emotion. Okay, we've now gotten out of the emotion. It can still be there, that's totally fine. But maybe that was enough to get you from the yellow light to the green light. And now you're good to go. And maybe it was enough to snap you out of that red light into the yellow light. And then you just got to do it a little bit more. And guess what? Yellow to green. And so on and so forth. So if you think you're going to think your way out of a craving, if you think you're going to think your way out of a binge, out of these obsessive thoughts about food, you will not think your way out of it. Okay? The reason it happened in the first place is because energy wasn't used productively. So now we're left with this energy that we don't know how we feel about that's turned into what we think is a negative emotion. And now we're about to get rid of the energy through what our brain thinks is right. And our brain thinks it's right because that's what we've trained it to believe, right? The dopamine hit when we get the thing that we want. And that makes our brain think that that is us being safe. So then it will automatically keep going there. So this is how, by redirecting the energy, you can start to rewire your patterns. Okay? Oftentimes we think that, why do I keep doing this to myself? Why do I keep doing this to myself? It's because you're just a computer program that's gotten really efficient at going through the same program. So you do need to do something different to start to rewire that program. Okay? And step number 3 to do that is redirect your energy. Literally put it somewhere else. Put the energy into something else. You cannot think your way out of this cycle. It's not going to happen. And then step number 4 here, very simple. It is just to remember, okay, now that we've named the emotion, we've identified and measured it, and then we've redirected it. Now we do have some common sense back. Now we do have a little bit more control, and we are, like I said, a little bit outside of our emotion now. We're not really in the thick of it. It could still be really, really intense, and it could still make us, make bad, quote unquote, bad decisions, but at least it won't be as bad. So step 4, now that we've redirected, It is to think of the future. Remind yourself of future you. So if you're 200 pounds and you want to be 150 pounds, just for 30 seconds, ask yourself, what would 150-pound Jessica do in this situation? And you know the answer. That's the cool thing. I don't have to tell you the tips and the tricks and the secrets to lose weight. I don't have to tell you the key to being healthy and staying healthy. If you ask yourself that one question, you already know what you need to do. Think about it. If I said, what would 150-pound you, or 120-pound, or 170, whatever your goal is, what would that version of you do tonight after this call? That's what you do. Because you and her are not different. You are, in fact, the same person. In fact, you can actually mentally be her before you physically become her. Your body will always catch up. But it doesn't happen the other way. Your mind must get there first. So you have to pause. Now that you've, hopped in place for 60 seconds and you're feeling in control, just be like, what would healthy me that lost the weight, how would she react to this slice of cake in front of me? Well, she'd probably realize that after one bite it wouldn't really taste good, so what's the point anyway? Maybe she'd just go for a walk. Or maybe she'd be like, you know what, it's my birthday, she'd probably have a cake, but be cool with one slice. You have all the answers you need. You're just not asking the right questions. And so those are the 4 things you can do tonight to start to rewire the program that you've been stuck repeating. And to heal your relationship with food so that it's no longer this comfort mechanism, this entertainment. There's not this intense emotional dopamine hit from it, right? Food is fuel. It is also pleasure. That's totally cool. But unfortunately, it's usually leaning towards the pleasure part, and we get away from, this is supposed to make me feel good and function properly, and it does the opposite. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you got any value at all, I'd love it if you left a 5-star review to help more women find this podcast and get the support that they need. And if you're looking to speed up your weight loss and take your transformation to the next level, then head on over to Trimera.com. TRIMMERA.com. I'll catch you on the next episode, and welcome to your Trim Era.